Good evening, guys, and then welcome to another class, another Zoom session. I think we did another one last week, and we got a couple of things from that. We basically analyzed the market and then looked for opportunities we could actually get. So it's the same thing we're going to do today. Yeah, hope we're all doing well today. The person annotating on my screen, how do I stop annotating on my screen? If you don't know the meaning of annotating, know the rights for my screen. Okay, guys, so let's get started. We're going to start with analyzing the markets. Then after that, we'll basically look at opportunities we can get for next week or basically for tomorrow. And then after that, I'm going to take a topic, and I think the topic I decided to take was entries and entry confirmations. Do you understand? So now let's get into it. So first, I'm going to start with AED USD. I'm going to start with AED USD. So currently on AED USD, let's look at the 4 hour time frame. Now, looking at the 4 hour time frame, the market was sort of consolidating down here. We're sort of ranging down here. We're sort of ranging down here. Yeah, high of the range and then the bottom of the range there. And then look at what price basically did. Price exited the range last week, and then we sort of had higher high, higher low, and then now we're pushing up to create another higher high. So currently, price is what bullish. Now let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Where can we look to get entries the coming week? So now I think the easiest thing I'll just do is plot my fib from the low to the high, from the low to the high. And then if you look at it, the 0.61, it is aligning with this high here that price broke. And I think that's even the 4 hour high. So what I'll be looking out for come tomorrow is price come back, tap here, and then let's basically get a retest and then buy to the upside. Do you understand? That's what I'm going to be looking out for on AED USD tomorrow. So now for NZD USD, let's take a look at the NZD USD. Now, looking at NZD USD, from the 1H, I can tell that the 4H is actually bullish. But then let's take a look at the 4H. It's top-down analysis. Let's take a look at 4H. Yeah, so the 4H on this one, if you look at it, price was more or less bearish for a while. Lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, sort of lower high, lower low, lower high. We failed to create another lower low. We pushed up, and this was where price started shifting. We broke above the lower high, and then we came back. Let me show you guys where we broke. So if you look at this point here, sorry, if you look at this point here, price basically, those candlesticks actually closed above that high. So basically broke up and then we created another high. Then from there, we pushed up and then we created another higher high, higher low. And then now price has pushed up to create another higher high. So what opportunities can we look out for? Already the market is bullish. So how can we get the next buy in this market now? So let's go to the 1H. So if you look at the 1 hour time frame too, we're actually bullish. Price has been creating higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We failed to create another high here, but then price still did not break below to create another low. Then we actually pushed up to create what? Another higher high. Now, I think the problem I always have, or the problem I tend to have with moves like this in the market is that most times after this very strong impulsive moves to the upside, we don't really get a deep retracement. Like price doesn't really come down, down, down. We just do small retracement and then break above. Do you understand? That's the problem I get. But then, nevertheless, we still do our analysis and then anticipate what the market could do. Do you understand? So, what would I be looking at? I think it's the same thing with AUD USD. I'll just plug my fib. Do you understand? Fibonacci from the low to the high. But then this one now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I hate seeing my Fibonacci levels out there in the desert. Do you understand? I'm not seeing a zone aligning with this level here. It's just there. And then price is going to touch it first. So most times I always have that doubt that price will, because from what I've seen, price most times will not want to tap here and then react. But then nevertheless, we still have to what? Prepare. So entry at that 0.618, stop loss a few pips below, and then we're targeting the highs up here. Do you understand? So if you actually look at it, all these zones, I think the only zone that is not within our stop loss level is this zone here, this resistance zone to support there. So that's basically what's going to make this setup tricky. So I think in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a conservative entry. So once price starts getting into this fib level, I'm going to start looking for entry confirmations on the lower time frame to be on the safer side. I'm not just going to jump into it and then just execute it like that. Do you understand? So I've actually looked at both my currency pairs. I think for NZD what I'm looking for, we have a break, retest, and then continuation. So I've looked at both my currency pairs. Is there any other currency pair you guys want us to take a look at before we start the main stuff we came here to discuss? Any currency pairs you guys want us to take a look at? Okay, I see someone dropped a currency pairs in the comments. Gold. Wahala. Hey, I know they ever tire with toxic relationship. Anyways, let's take a look at gold. So this is gold on the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look at gold on the 4 hour time frame. This is why I don't like the structure on gold. Structure on gold is always tricky to look at. Wicks are always everywhere, flying everywhere. Helter skelter. So now, if we look at this, ah, price was more or less bullish, and then it got tricky in the sense that from here, we sort of created a higher high, higher low. We failed to create another high. At the same time, we didn't actually break below to create another low. Do you understand? We actually pushed up and then we created a higher high, higher low. We failed to create another high. We failed to create another low. And then we pushed up and then we created another higher high. So at this point here, price was more or less looking like, honestly, I think to avoid any, how will I put it now, any plenty talk. I think the 4H is actually ranging. So we have the low of the range there, and then the high of the range here. So after price created that high and then this low, price has not really broken out of it. Do you understand? We still have minor structure here. We have like price creating sort of a high, a low, and then a higher high here. But then for the fact that we have not clearly broken out, I still have that whole ranging market sentiment. Do you understand? Now let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. Now, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, I think it's actually bullish. Let's see. Okay, this is the 1 hour time frame. Now, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, this is what price has been doing. So price started from here, we created equal highs, then sort of like an equal low, and then price pushed up to create a higher high. Now, price pushed back down to create a higher low. Then it started another impulsive move here, but then it stopped halfway and then it started selling to the downside. That's why I say I don't like the structure on gold. Because currently we're in between. The last market structure we had was a bullish market structure on the 1 hour time frame. But at the same time, price is actually more or less in between now. So what can we look out for? I think that's the most important thing. What can I, as a trader, look out for? So I have this low here, and then I have this high here. So now what am I looking out for? If at any point price actually comes down to break this low to the downside, then it's more or less like price is shifting to a bearish market. So I'll basically look out for a retest and then a continuation. Do you understand? What if I don't get that? What I'll look out for is for price to come back, break this high to the upside. So if we break this high to the upside, we're more or less continuing that uptrend. So we'll still look out for that same retest and then continuation. So that's basically what I'll be looking out for come tomorrow. So if we get any of that, then we'll be looking to execute. But for now, it's just to wait and see how it plays out, basically. Any other pairs you guys want us to take a look at? EU. Okay, let's take a look at Euro USD. This is nice. I like this structure. Now, I think EU actually has a similar structure with AUD USD. So if you look at this, we're sort of ranging for a while. After price created this low here, and then this high up here. Do you understand? So it was up until last week, NFP, that price actually broke above to create a new higher high. Do you understand? So we're sort of exiting the range towards we're sort of exiting the range to an uptrend. Do you understand? So now let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see what we could potentially get come tomorrow. Let's see. Now, if you look at this same sort of structure, price more or less created a higher high here, a higher low. Now, after creating that higher low, what did price do? Price sort of consolidated here. We created these lows here. One sec. One sec. Do you understand? So price sort of consolidated there for a while. Then we actually broke above to create a high up here. So now what can we look out for? Price come back, retest, and then let's get buys to the upside. Now the question becomes, where can we potentially get those buys from? Let's invite Fibonacci. So now let's see. If I'm plotting my fib, it's going to be from this low here, to this high. So, and this is actually what I like. The fib level is actually aligning with this 4 hour high that was broken here. So what we can look to do is price come back, tap here, and then react from here to the upside. So that's what we're going to be looking out for tomorrow. So we'll look for that retest and then a continuation. So I'm going to be paying attention. Let me set alerts on these currency pairs so that by tomorrow I can update you guys on our analysis. So I've set an alert there. Once price get there, I'll basically know so that we'll see what we can use this one to actually do. Any other currency pairs you guys want us to take a look at? UG. That's USDJPY. Oh, wow. The JPYs have always had a notorious, or the USDs have always had a notorious character of not allowing my strategy work. So now let's take a look at this. This is actually interesting. So price basically created a higher high and then a higher low. Now price failed to push up and then create another higher high. It actually stopped here and then we'll push down and then we broke that higher low to the downside. So now we're more or less having like some sort of shift in market structure. That's price is changing from this uptrend toward a downtrend. Now let's go to the 1 hour time frame and then see what we can potentially get come tomorrow. So same thing, and I think I'm still going to use my fib here. So yeah, I actually like this sort of stuff. So what I'll be looking out for is price come back, tap this 0.618 level. And then we actually have this zone here that's before that 0.618 level. So this actually gives it much more credibility in the sense that others are going to be stacked at this zone here. Others are also going to be stacked at that 0.618 level. So by the time price gets here, others might actually be enough to actually push price down. So what I'll be looking at looking out for is price go back, retest, and then sell to the downside. Now, the other currency pair here is Euro card. Yeah, let's take a look at Euro card. Okay, this one is already looking like a range. It's already looking like a range. Okay, this was the currency pair I took at the trading floor of my students. Actually lost like was it $190 on this trade. One of my students actually analyzed it and then we decided to take it in class and then the rest was history. Anyways, let's take a look at it. So price was basically creating higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we sort of created equal lows here. Price failed to create another high. Now price pushed down and then we broke below. Do you understand? We broke this low to the downside. We broke this low to the downside. Now, after breaking this low to the downside, look at what price did. Price basically went back up to create a lower high. Now, price is on the move to actually sell to the downside to create a lower low. So now, how can we jump on that sell? Now, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Wow. Looking at this 1 hour time frame, this is actually tricky in a way. In a way, it's actually tricky because the way it's looking, yeah, price basically created lower low. We sort of did like a shift in market structure here, and then we broke above, and then we sort of created higher high. Now price is selling to the downside. Honestly, what I'm gonna say is let's just wait for more price action on this currency pair. So we have a low down here. We have a low down here, and then we have a high up here. So what I'm going to be looking at is, let's wait and then see how this whole thing plays out. If we can break this low or this high, then we'll start looking for positions. But for now, I really don't want to say anything because the way I'm looking at it, or the way it's looking, it's more or less like I'm trying to force a trade on it. And I hate it when I analyze pairs and then it starts looking like I'm trying to force a trade on it. So I'm going to just drop it there. Any other currency pair you guys want us to take a look at? CHF JPY. Where una they get these cross pairs from? Where do you guys get these cross pairs from? CHF JPY. Is there volatility on that one at all? So now, ah, this currency pair is nasty. Honestly, I really don't know where you guys get all these cross pairs from. But please stop trading cross pairs. I'm not saying stop trading cross pairs, but then reduce the way you trade cross pairs because I don't really think there's any volatility on this currency pair. Look at it, it has been ranging. And then CHF and JPY will most likely be moving in the same direction because the currency pair, the currency pairs of CHF and JPY is USD JPY, USD CHF. So they'll most likely be moving in the same direction. So you hardly have any time where price is doing any nice structure at all. So it's just reduce the amount of cross pairs you trade. You can trade something like Euro JPY, GBP JPY, Euro card. Do you understand? But once you start trading pairs like CHF JPY, then honestly, it's gonna be tricky. Do you understand? So let's take a look at GBP AUD. Someone dropped GBP AUD and Euro AUD. This one is understandable to a certain level. GBP AUD. Nice. Let's take a look at the 4 hour time frame. Okay, now looking at this 4 hour time frame, this market was actually bearish. So price was more or less creating lower low, lower high. We sort of created equal lows here. We pushed up, we created a lower high, and then we pushed down and created another lower low. Now, after creating this lower low, it looks as though price actually went back up to create a lower high. And if you look at where price is selling from at the moment, it's actually at this whole support level that was broken. So it support turned to resistance. But then another key thing we should pay attention to is the fact that price created this lower low, pushed up, and then we created a lower high here. We failed to create another lower low, and then we pushed up. Do you understand? So now price basically broke above this lower high here. So we sort of have a small shift in market structure here. Do you understand? It's a shift in market structure, a shift in market structure, a shift in market structure. So now let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Now, what can we see on the 1 hour time frame? If you look at the 1 hour time frame now, you can see what I was talking about. So price sort of created lower low. Now, instead of creating a lower high, So instead of creating a lower high, price went up and then broke above that lower high there. Then we sort of created a higher low and then a higher high. Now it looks like as though price is actually retracing to create a higher low and then a higher high. I hate this sort of currency pairs that the whole thing is not one. What I'll just say is if you're looking to take a buy here, just be careful. Do you understand? Because price is looking like it's reacting from a 4-hour zone. Do you get? So just be careful. Now, what can we do here? What can we do here? That's the question. What can we do here? So I think for me, what I'll be comfortable doing is normal, place my feet from the low to the high. Now look at where the 0.618 level is. It's at this point here. So now once price gets to this 0.618 level, once price stops here, what I'll be looking for is a conservative entry. Do you understand? I'll not enter aggressively. It's a conservative entry. I'll look for a proper confirmation before I actually enter that trade from that level. Do you get to avoid stories that touch? So I actually look for a proper confirmation before I enter the trade at that level. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. But then at the same time, I'll still advise that to be on the safer side, just watch out for this low down here and then this high up here. Because whatever price does at this point will actually determine which direction the market will be headed to. So if price can come and then break this low to the downside, then that downtrend is continuing. But then if price actually goes up to break this high, then it means that's uptrend on that uptrend that price is doing on the 4-hour time frame is what looking to continue. So whatever it is, just pay attention and then let's see how it's going to play out. Now, the same person asked for Euro AUD. So now let's take a look at Euro AUD. Euro AUD. Wow. So this is Euro AUD. Now, Euro AUD, I'm not surprised that it's more or less correlated with GBP AUD. So price more or less has created a lower low here. Price has gone back up to create a lower high, and then now we're selling to the downside. So now let's go to the 1-hour time frame and then see what we can grab. So if you look at this 1-hour time frame, price has been creating lower low, lower high. So the equal lows, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then now price is trying to push down to create a lower low. But then price is struggling to break the last one. Price has not exited the last one yet. And if price can exit this one here, if price can break this one here, it's actually going to break this 4-hour low here also. So till then, no sells. Let's wait and then see how price is going to behave. What if price doesn't break this low to the downside? Then we have the most recent high here. So if price can come up and then break this high to the upside, then we're basically shifting towards a bullish market. So that's what we're going to be looking out for. Now, I think someone asked for Euro JPY. So let's take a look at Euro JPY. This is actually nice market structure. So let's look at the 4-hour time frame. What's the 4-hour time frame doing? The 4-hour time frame is more or less bullish in the sense that price was more or less, price created this high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, price failed to create a higher high in one go. That pushed the upside, price not create. But then at the same time, we not create a low. So we sort of created another small higher low. Then price is creating a higher high now. Now, let's jump to the lower time frame and see what we can basically grab. Now, looking at the 1-hour time frame, we can still confirm that uptrend bias here. So price was more or less doing a downtrend, but then from here we shifted and we created lower high. We failed to create another lower low, and then we pushed up and then we broke above. We created higher high, higher low, and price pushed up to create another higher high. Now it's retracing to create a higher low. So what can we do in this case? Normals, let's plot our Fibonacci and then get where we can potentially enter our trade from. So from the low to the high, oh shit, look at where the 0.618 level is. So what we'll be looking out for is price come back tap the 0.618 level and buy from there to the upside. So once price gets here, it's your choice. You can either enter aggressively or conservatively. If you're entering aggressively, then entry is going to be at the 0.618, stop loss a few pips below the 0.79. Then we're going to be targeting the highs up here. This high, that's the 0 or the minus 0.27. So anyone you want to do, you can do it. But if you're going to be entering conservatively, then you need to get extra confirmations before you can enter. Hope you guys understand what I just explained. So guys, this meeting is remaining 4 minutes to end. One sec.